Arrivederci, everyone. Welcome to the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Round 5 of the World Championship in silver. And indeed, of course, we are home. We are here for the historic Grand Prix in Imola, and I am freezing me clogs off tonight. Then, so if you hear teeth chattering, that is because I am very cold indeed. Then we've only got one reserve in tonight, which is absolutely superb stuff indeed. Right. Anyway, whilst the drivers get into the lobby, let's have a look at the drivers and the constructor standings. Of course, remember last night I did mention that the top 9 are within a Grand Prix win of each other. So in theory, Knowlesy could be leading the championship by the end of tonight. But let's have a look. Too good to miss. Hang on, have I unmuted myself? That would be very good, wouldn't it? Oh, I have unmuted myself. Fantastic. I'm getting good at this stream, Malark. KD, of course, his first ever Grand Prix victory last time out in Miami, leads the championship 47 points and 5 points in front of Tory in second position, with Potstuff in third position on 40 points, 39 points for Jinner, Riley on 35, 31 for Reflections, also 31 for Camera Racer, 26 for Vestia, and 24 for Nosy. That top 9 is separated by 23 championship points. Incredible stuff indeed, then. And then, of course, in 10th position is Kiki. Of course, don't think Kiki's had a very good second position, but I think he only had 2 fastest up, but he's in 10th anyway. Donovan Dunn has been a revelation the last couple of races, hasn't he? Smithfield Mighty, a great result last time out in Miami to get finished 4th, his best result of his silver career, and absolutely cooking on, firing on all cylinders. Deepa Croc, who is not on that graphic we've got in front of us. Of course, Deepa Croc is currently on 12 points, and then we've got Hungry Star 10, 5 for Mumford, 1 for Farf, 1 for the Real Fig. Nigel Sloth and Chlorine Pilot are yet to score, unfortunately. And that means then that the knock-on effect is in the constructors, and that is 77 points for the Haas team at the moment, who lead the constructors. 23 points in front of the Alpine team in second position. McLaren are in third, then 2 points adrift of the Alpine team. Aston Martin at 44, 8 points adrift of the McLaren team. Mercedes, 35 points, 9 points adrift of Aston Martin. I have it all written down. I'm not that good at maths. Sixth position is the Fry on 31 points, along with Williams also on 31 as well. Racing Bulls on 27 points, and then we got the Red Bull, the sister team, 11 points behind their little sister. That's going to be a very depressing sight for Lauren Meckies. And Kick Sauber on 11 points in the Constructors' Championship, and happy 160th Grand Prix start tonight to Farfen. Goodness gracious me, that is a very lot. That's a lot of races indeed. Then, right, where's my phone? Why am I going to call Ghostbusters? Am I? No, I'm not. I'm trying to. Where's my comments? Hello to Jinnen, and good evening. Let's go, Silver. Then I must admit, I've actually ghosted Nosy today. Shocking stuff indeed. I know. I've had a terrible day at work, so indeed. So I've got a load of notifications on my phone, which I'm probably going to go through till tomorrow, because after this stream, I'm going straight to bed, and I'm going to cry myself to sleep because it was that bad. Tory has got some Ireland. Italy flags. Goodness gracious me. And of course, Nosy give me a bit of pizza as well. I do love a bit of pizza. The question is, do you want pepperoni? No, pepperoni. Do you want pineapple on your pizza? To be honest, it doesn't bother me personally. Styles, good luck, Silver. Then I hope God can give me a win this season, says Tory. Then I'm not going to say it, but actually, I'm not going to. But Tory, you are my favourite to be the newest race winner for the rest of the season. I hope my God denies your win. Goodness gracious me, I love it. Right, anyway. Is my overlay shifted up? They probably have, to be honest. Anyway, enough about that. We are in the lobby and ready to get cooking then here in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, or as a lot of you millennials, possibly millennials, would know it as the San Marino Grand Prix, even though it's not in San Marino. But there you go then. In the good old days of F1, they used to just have tracks I was going to say countries, nothing else. Goodness gracious me, get your mind out of the gutter. Of course, they had tracks. It was with neighbouring countries as the Grand Prix name. Like, of course, the Nürburgring was the Luxembourg Grand Prix in '97 and '98 before it became the European Grand Prix. I think it was European Grand Prix in '96 as well and '95, wasn't it? And it returned to the European Grand Prix in '99 because I think in '97 wasn't it the it was of course the European Grand Prix was actually staged in Jerez, wasn't it? Of course, as a final showdown of the '97 championship. Of course, very contentious indeed between Jacques Villeneuve and Michael Schumacher. And of course, Villeneuve is a synonymous name around here. Of course, the second chicane is named after Villeneuve, not Jacques Villeneuve, but the legendary Gilles Villeneuve, the six-time Grand Prix winner, which in this day and age doesn't sound like a lot, does it? But Villeneuve was more than just stats. Then, of course, I love me stats, but the one thing that does go against stats is when you listen, when you hear and see like the likes of Gilles Villeneuve, for example. Gosh, my TV's really quiet, even though I'm like really high on the old. Oh, that's better. Goodness me. Stats really go against guys like Gilles Villeneuve because only 6 Grand Prix wins, but goodness me, he was an absolute marvel. I remember first time I watched it was on there was a video I used to have called Murray's Magic Moments, which was on VCR or something. VCR? I don't know, not VCR. No, what's a VHS? That's it. Goodness me, VHS. But that was before DVDs. If any of you don't know what VHS tapes are, which really upsets me, as Jenna comes across the line to start his qualifying lap now. But yes, Gilles Villeneuve, and of course, I remember there is a scene in the Dutch Grand Prix where, of course, his rear tyre popped and coming out of Tamburello. I've done my homework tonight. Coming out of Tamburello, Jenna unfortunately has invalidated his time already. Not Gilles. Jenna unfortunately has invalidated his time already. He's going to have another bite of the cherry. But luckily for Jenna, he's out on the circuit quite quickly, which means that very much on the get-go, right from the get-go. So he's got 15 minutes to put that wrong right then. As I lean forward, Silver has a special guest tonight. Oh. And who's the special guest? Oh, it's Ashton. Wow, fantastic. I think that we almost had a full grid there, which has been very cool and stuff indeed. I must admit, as much as I do like seeing new drivers in fields and stuff, it does really annoy me when I have to do the reserves on when I'm doing the championship as camera. Almost out of bounds there, coming up in Piratella then. Oh, goodness me, then my Italian is not very fluent then. The only thing I'm fluent in is something that comes up my rear, to be honest. So there we go. Look at that. Back end trying to overtake the front at the Variante Alta, but as purple in the second intermediate split time there. Where was I? Pasta sauce for all, says Knowlesy. I'm not going to pasta. I know pasta in Yonkers, but that's probably because I don't know how to turn my cooker on. But there you go then. I think that my cooker's been off since I moved in here back in 2022. Camera racer at 14.8 then to start us on our journey. Remember last start, our times was getting into almost the 11s there, wasn't it? And I remember one of the drivers was saying that was redonkulously quick then. Kiki, 2 tenths of a second away. No slouch in qualifying. He was the highest qualifier in all of the championships, wasn't he? A few seasons ago then. But of course, Kiki is getting on a bit now, isn't he? Of course, he has to walk with a walking stick these days. Maybe you have to upgrade to a Zimmer frame in the not too distant future. Right, Lost Souls, good evening to you, my good sir. Lost Souls, a former gold Grand Prix winner, I believe. Tori's gone fastest out in the second Alpine there. Well, it's the first Alpine, not the second Alpine. There's too many blue cars on the grid these days, even though that's more of a pink and a blue rather than anything else. But Tori has passed none less. And Lost Souls, I'm sure he's a 3-time Grand Prix winner, Lost Souls. Hopefully he can correct me if I'm wrong, which I could be wrong then. Video players hand it use stick and use trap whilst putting the tape in. Absolutely. If you weren't quick enough, your fingers got stuck. And to be honest, my fingers always get stuck because I always used to get caught in the cookie jar. Dynamo Dan there coming out of the Villeneuve chicane and now coming out of Toza as well. that's what I was doing on the bus ride on the way home. I was just trying to remember where all the corner names are. Goodness me. To be honest, I only need to remember a couple of them, to be fair. Shocking stuff indeed, isn't it? Maybe there's me complaining about just having corner numbers, and perhaps I should stick with corner numbers, because obviously I can't remember the names, can I? Potstuff and a Grand Prix winner a few races ago, but had a horror show back in Miami. Only 1 point on the board there for Potstuff. Mumford has gone 6 faster. When Mumford has raced this season, he has been on pole position. It's been 100% pole position rate for Mumford. However, it's a 0 conversion rate in silver, as no pole sitter has won from pole position this season. And that is a horror show for the team from Woking. It's the McLaren team, who have been on pole position 3 out of the 4 Grand Prix so far. I am completely behind everyone else because I need to catch up. Nigel currently the slowest time runner so far. Here's Smithy on the up after a superb performance in Miami a week ago. But I think that Miami certainly does suit Smithy, doesn't it? Because I'm sure I can imagine Smithy there on the a bit of a Miami Vice kind of thing, isn't there, with the cool shades and the white suit and everything. Here's the real Fig then, who's abandoning his time. So we are now going to go to Smithy, who is coming out of Ravazza 1 and Ravazza 2, or is it just all Ravazzas? I do not know, but that's what Murray Walker used to say. You missed my message, Sean, says Serious Mushroom. What message? On Discord? Or no, have you spammed my PlayStation again, you dirty little mushroom? Goddamn serious. No, we haven't. We got Smithy in 8th position. To be honest, Mushroom, you messaged me at the wrong time, because I'm normally turned around at the beginning of the stream because I'm probably reading something or trying to get my spreadsheet to work, which I probably should have got it to work probably about 5 minutes before starting the stream. But of course, I'm not a man who prepares a lot in life. Eric, good luck all of you there. Great to hear from you, Eric, as well. How's it going? Our Souls then says that Cirrus Mushroom as well. Then of course Souls. I can't remember last time Souls was in a race. Then I got my gold spreadsheet up tonight. Across the line, goes second fast there for Gina. That's much better, isn't it? And who's that in the background? I see one of the Mercedes in the background. Here comes Knowlesley, who has been eating a lot of pasta by the sounds of it. But hopefully he's put his plate to one side and is now going to challenge for a top 10 finish and for Knowlesley. Of course, it's been phenomenal feats for the Aston Martin. They had a great start in Australia, but then since then, is Real Ashton out of qualifying there. So Real Ashton there is really upsetting the Tifosi there, because not coming out then in Tifosi are going to riot, I think, if Ferrari do not get a good result then. They was on pole position last night, was the Ferrari team, but they didn't convert it. I think in the end it was Villash who finished 4th position there. Knowlesley out of the second and the 2 Ravazzas then. Do not go wide then. Of course, there used to be, as Knowlesley comes into the front, Sarah, it's goodness me, it builds me up and lets me down. It's like my buttercup. Goodness me. To be honest, I'm still trying to get over the horror shock that I had in at lunchtime today when I realised that my chicken wraps I eat is £3. I couldn't believe it. Good job I get them in meal deals, but that's basically only 75p more with a drink and a snack. Absolutely shocking stuff indeed. Then, so very, very upset there. Thanks for the tip, says Serious Mushroom. Yeah, so I expect you to probably message me around this time next week. Of course, but then again, having said that, you'll be lucky to get a response. To be honest, I'm very antisocial at the moment. It takes me half an hour to reply to anyone. But there we go. But then, having said that, though. Having said that, I do spend a lot of my time, trying, just watching old F1 stuff, really, which I need to really get a life, don't I, to be honest. Here's Riley out the second Ravazzas, coming into the line in, and Riley goes across line, goes 5th fastest. Riley, I must say, the reason why I was looking forward so much to Silver this season is exactly why the championship is so close, and the top 9 is separated by 23-ish points there, as Kiki, much better lap time there, goes 4th fastest, does Kiki. Goodness me, I think he was unhappy with my Zimmer frame comment there. But this is the reason why I was looking so much for Silver this season, because it's anyone's ball game, isn't it? That's exactly what you want to see in the middle tier of any championship, whether that's foosball, whether that's football, whether that's croquet, whether that's cricket, or whether that is tiddlywinks. Whatever. I don't even know what tiddlywinks is, to be honest, but there you go. I'm sure it's some kind of... is it... I don't know what it is. I first of all thought it was croquet, actually, but then again, I do not know. Camera race was invalidated his time, unfortunately. KD currently second fastest moment was Tori's about a tenth of a second, 3/10 of a second actually improvement over KD then, and he was actually a tenth of a second up in the second intermediate split time across the line, but faster still. That's over half a second now. That is a mega lap from Tori. Of course, Tori wants to win his first Grand Prix win of his career in silver as he scampers off and into the kitty litter there. Remember, Tori could emulate Mika Hakkinen there, who won his first race in the European Grand Prix of 97. And then, of course, he went on an absolute barrage, didn't he? Winning 3 in a row, did Hakkinen in Australia 98, Brazil 98, but not Argentina. I think Michael Schumacher won that race after. It was very controversial as Schumacher took out Coulthard, or was it actually Coulthard turned in on Schumacher? Age-old stuff, is it really? Of course, all this hullabaloo about behaving when you're fighting with drivers and all that kind of stuff, and overtaking, etiquette and all that jazz. It's been in F1 for donkey's years, hasn't it? And it still will remain in F1 in donkey's years. Styles goes 6 fastest there. Where am I? All good, just watching the race, says Lost Souls. Good stuff indeed. We've also got Seymour, commentary guy for the win. Hello to you, Seymour. As a serious, hang on a minute. I got to put an emoji in there, Mushroom, because I can't read your. I've got this big heart next to the comment section, so I can't see the bottom. So Jinner currently 4th at the moment. I put your race career. I put your race career like your IT advice off and on then. To be honest, I'm going to retire in the next 8 races of my F1 career because then I'll be on 69 Grand Prix starts and I am a child. There you go then, because I need to grow up. It's going into going down to the top of the Variante Alta. Is it, or is it the Acro Minerale? There's Devo Croc, remember there's of course 12 points already in his career so far of silver, or this season of silver. And I must say that Devo Croc, I am so happy that Devo Croc's got a full-time seat. He has been absolutely superb, has Devo Croc over the reserve race he's done. I think that he's more than warranted a full-time seat. Here's Knowlesy then coming out of the final, Ravazza then coming out to the line, and Knowlesy goes 15th there for Knowlesy. So that's going to be a bit disappointed on the Strolls end there. So hopefully Knowlesy is going to have to give him the puppy dog eyes, I think, from Lawrence Stroll then, or Lance Stroll might end up in that car. Tori's very happy with his qualifying time. I think he's got the old newspaper out, and he's put his feet up in the garage there and enjoying himself. Can't enjoy himself too much, like with Flavio Briatore wandering around in that garage there. Whether that be Christian Horner or not, and whether that become Horny Racing by the end of next year remains to be seen. Next year, this year remains to be seen. But then again, at least it feel like that team is going somewhere. Devo Croc goes 9th fast and actually matching his teammate, give or take a couple of tenths of a second there by Devo Croc. That's pretty impressive stuff indeed then. Mumford, a bit beyond the 8 ball here. I'm wondering if there's a bit of race rust there from Mumford, or Mumfire I should say, as at the top of the hill he is now then. Of course, the track is fairly empty out there, which I think that drivers are going to be happy about, because they will be tripping over each other in this one. And also as well, of course, there's only one DRS zone around this circuit, so it's going to be a lot like Father Leader. So this qualifying session is going to be absolute peak stuff indeed. And if you like a qualifying in your one-lap shootout and pace, and this is the qualifying to watch there. Race, I'm not saying the race, oh my goodness me. But even though the race will be action-packed as well, of course, it wasn't the most dramatic of races last night, was it? But goodness gracious me, you was on the edge of your seats for the whole of the event. Then across the line, Mumford goes 9th fastest. The fifth McLaren team are going to be disappointed. They lost a bit of performance over the last week or two. It seems like it, as they're there. There's McLaren the first time last week they didn't get on pole position, albeit KD did have a great race to win his first race of his career in silver. Not an ALR, because KD, of course, won in the event league. I think he's got 2 or 3 Grand Prix in the event league. But I think the McLaren has lost a bit of pace there, or the others are caught up, give or take then. By the way, if you're watching the stream, give us a like and a little thumbs up as well. And of course, we are trying to get to 800 subscribers by the end of this year. because then of course that makes me very happy indeed. That I know it's a bit of a stretch, to be fair, and I'm not expecting many new subscribers next year either, because there's no new F1 game. So that's normally where we get more subscribers, isn't it? There, as KD is invalidated, unfortunately. But of course, so we would like to get to 1,000 subscribers, because then we can get adverts and all that kind of stuff, and which I'm sure that a lot of you don't really want adverts. But there you go. Then it's all about lining my pockets, of course, because I want to become like the Monopoly guy. Far out qualifying runs 160th Grand Prix start tonight. Talking of golden oldies, and I think the Favre's fun might be being a bit worse for wear. Of course, Favre had an incident in his workplace, I think it was. Not sure if he was given so many thumbs up or not. I do not know. As Stars coming out of Toza. Nope. Make that Piratella. I don't know. It begins with a P. Starsen is almost a tenth and a half up as it comes up to the Variante Alta. Out of now, then, of course, do not take too much curve. A lot of drivers are not too keen about his qualifying sessions tonight, aren't they? So that goes against my theory, where I thought that actually qualifying was... Oh! I thought Styles was out of bounds there, but I think the FIA was looking away. But that's nothing unusual for the FIA. Styles goes into the top 10 now. As the FIA is about as consistent as my waistline. Across the line comes Nigel, and he's in 15th position at the moment. Of course, the ALR stewards do not govern the track limits. It is the game itself that's meant to cover track limits, but unfortunately, it does what it wants. As Jason Puncheon did a couple of seasons ago, he went off the pitch randomly one time, so I think he had to use the facilities, and there's a great chant. I think, was that when he was playing for Southampton or Crystal Palace? I do not know. To be honest, I probably should bring up more than half the story, but whoa, look at that car there, goodness me. I was looking down because I was trying to get me phone in position ready for the race, but that Aston Martin crawling there, but I think the KD would have been alright by that, as he comes over the brow of the hill as well, and then he comes down into the first of the two Ravazzas in old F1 trims there, where the cars are a lot smaller. I would have said Ravazza would have been one of the two major overtaken points coming up to the Bassa, which I don't think is Bassa anymore. Saying KD goes second fastest, but that's not pole position. Tori is still on pole position at the moment. Potstuff is out on the circuit. Jitter flying into the Villeneuve chicane now. Kiki starting us up. Vessier, he had a great race last night, didn't he? Before he made a mistake, and I think the Vessier messaged me saying that it was his own mistake. Very honest of you, Vessier. I would have said it was someone else, but that's because I'm not a nice person. The real thick there. Oh my gosh, Sarah, now you've just completely soiled myself. As out of the far turn for Slop, and Slop comes up to the line of the Red Bull. 14th fastest for Slop in the Red Bull. He wouldn't have been too disappointed about that then, as just coming up to the line as well, and the checker flag has fallen then. Reflections in the pits, and so Reflections going to be disappointed by that, isn't he? Unfortunately, Kiki then coming out of the Variante Alta then. As now we got Gina. Poststuff's up in the second position. Great stuff for the house, but they still can't displace Tori, who has been parked up and is probably enjoying himself in the motorhome at the Alpine team. Gina across the line, second fastest. It's not enough. Tori is still on pole position. KD is off the circuit. Kiki is still on a lap now. Into the pits comes Riley. That's a lot of understeer from the Aston Martin, and also overcorrected the accent, the Variante Alta. Nope, the advances. Kiki up in new fifth position there. I'm spluttering all over myself. Oh. Riley's out of qualifying. Nosy, goodness me, he's pulled something out of his rear or out of his hat. I do not know. Is he a magician? He certainly is. He's up in his seventh position now. Devo Croc in 14th position on his debut for the Mercedes team, then. And here comes Devo Croc up to the line. 13th fastest there, and Slotfair, of course, finished off the lap as well. But it's Tori, pole position there for the Alpine driver, and I must say he was the most coolest cookie in the event tonight there, because he parked the car a long time ago, and that's Tori's first pole position of his career in ALR Silver. Absolutely supreme stuff indeed then for Tori. I must admit, I thought he had a couple of pole positions, but then again, I should have done my homework, shouldn't I? But that is Tori's first pole position of his career and of the season as well then. But the pole position has been a bit of a poison chalice us this season. As we mentioned, that four of the first four qualifying sessions there, the pole sitter has not gone on to win the race. Is that curse going to be broken tonight from Tori? Well, let's find out. Get in, Ginner lad, says Seymour. It's 3 degrees where I am at the moment. Goodness gracious me, it's absolutely freezing out there. I wish I was actually in Emilia right now, sunning myself. And look at that, well, it's a bit cloudy over yonder there, isn't it? But it should be okay then. I did say in gold last night that I was actually expecting maybe a few droplets of rain over the over the course of this event, and whether that was last night, tonight, or tomorrow. Well, there was no rain last night. There might be some rain tonight, but that at the moment looks like lovely sunny sky. Tori there with the party emoji as well. Goodness gracious me, he's the coolest cucumber in all of Imola, isn't he? Great stuff indeed there. Albeit I've never seen a pink cucumber before, so I'm gonna have to figure something else there as well. Just finished my beef stew, says Real Ashton there. So hopefully that doesn't weigh Real Ashton down either, as of course he is now going to be under the ultimate pressure cooker, isn't it? As he is driving for Ferrari in Imola, which I think actually Maranello is closer to here than what it is to Monza, which I thought was the other way around last night. I found that out randomly actually when I was watching a random F1 stream last night, which was pretty cool. And there's 20 cars on the grid as well. Look at those flags in the background there. Goodness gracious me. Of course, we've got the German flags, we've got the Italian flags, of course, we've got the Spanish, and I think we have the Polish flags in there as well. And I'm sure I've seen a Farf flag in there too, which Farf is on those hard tires. Both Racing Bulls are on the hard tires. So, of course, remember, that is the local team around here. Of course, Racing Bull, of course, are from Faenza originally. Of course, they are the DNA of the Minardi team, which of course, started their F1 journey back in 1985. That's a couple of years before I was born. Goodness gracious me. Of course, so, to be fair, I wish it was the Minardi team still, because Minardi was very much the underdogs over the course of the season, and they did bring in such memorable drivers like Pedro Lavia, of course, Tarso Marquez, Marquez Mania. They also brought in the likes of Fernando Alonso, Alex Young as well. Goodness gracious, Young I say. Gaston Mazzacane, Mark Genet. Goodness gracious me. The list goes on. Of course, Luca Bader was in the Minardi team as well. He also drove for Ferrari as well. I need to go through the grid. Goodness me. And we also got June on hard tires as well. I apologise profusely. Farfessier said that you're the number 2. Get him. Tori, pole position number 1 of his career, and Jitter is alongside him on row 1. But it is quite a long run down into the first chicane at Tamburello, so that is a curveball for Jitter. He does have his teammate Potstuff in 3rd position. KD aiming for a 2nd win on the bounce then. Can he do it after a great win in Miami? Kiki in 5th position there, back on it. Camaro, pole position last time out in Miami. 6th position there. Knowlesy pulled something out of the hat there, wins 7th position there. 8th position is Vester. Riley in 9th with Mumford in 10th position. This is the lowest position he's been all season. Styles with Smithy with Debo Croc, Dynamo Dan, Reflections, out position for Reflections. Sloth, Nigel, the real Fig, Farf, and Real Ashton. Farf having 160 affair from the man from Ipswich, I think it is, or Luton. One or the other. We're all lined up on the grid now, preparing for the start of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, or as millennials are known as the San Marino Grand Prix. 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a pause. And we are racing, and we are going to have a long drag. That's a perfect start for Tori. That's not a good start for Jitter then. Just like we suspected that Jitter is going to struggle on those hard tires, and the Ferrari of Real Ashton there has had a bit of a difficult start as we go to turn 1. That's a much better start than last night. I haven't said that. There's a bit of debris there, as none of them was ghosting like last night either. That was pretty horrific stuff last night, but they've all got through safe and sound then. Or have they? Debo Croc is down a competition. Dynamo Dan. Oh gosh, Dynamo Dan's in trouble then, as he is unfortunately this year. Debo Croc is also off the circuit as well, coming into Toza, I believe that is. But at the front then, Tory leads with Potstuff in second. Gin on those hard tyres, going against the grain here. Pun intended. Fourth position is KD with Cameron fifth. Kiki down one position, and Nosey followed his teammate in seventh position there. Riley followed by Vester, followed by Mumford in 10th position. There's the top 10. There's the point scoring places at the moment there. Then we got Stiles and Smithy, followed by Nigel, the first ever ALR world champion. Reflections, the bronze champion from last season. Sloth far from three positions again then, and as we suspect, I think Farf has launch control up there. I think he's got option 13 buried somewhere in that racing ball. I think he should be in the LP, not the racing ball. That one completed 8/10 of a second already, but now then DRS is going to be available at the end of this lap then. So can Potstuff keep himself in DRS? Can Jitter keep himself in DRS as well? KD following and just mirroring the two Haas cars I know who currently lead the Constructors' Championship with a superb start for both drivers then, albeit it was difficult last week there for Potstuff. Nigel is in peril and it's on the inside of Tamburello, and Nigel spun the car. He's having a horrific start to the season, unfortunately for Nigel. And down in last week, he's not feeling very comfortable at all in that Williams car, is he? Del Monte says serious question. Well, thank goodness me. It's not some kind of singer or horse rider. No, wait, that's Frankie Dettori out of Acqua Minerale, coming out to the Variante Alta as well. Of course, those curves can be very dangerous. Charles Leclerc, unfortunately, found out to his cost in the 2022 Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. I think it was. Goodness gracious me, time flies when you're having fun. But time flies when you're a Ferrari fan as well, as they're coming out to complete lap 2 in this race. So crucially, even though Torres set the fast off the race, look at the Haas in the background now. I was actually looking at the second Haas, but we should look at, I was looking at the lead Haas. We need to be looking at the second Haas here. Jinner's not got DRS set, so Jinner's going to have to get defensive here, but Jinner's becoming, what's happened? Oh no! And Nigel then coming out the Ferrari says is in major peril, as Nigel is having a difficult time once again. He's just not liking these ground effect era Formula 1 cars. And I would even compare Nigel to Lewis Hamilton in this era as well, where KD almost into the back, and look at that, and Camera Racer going on the outside of Toza, defending his line from Kiki. I was saying, and I think that Nigel, similar to Hamilton, he just doesn't like these ground effect era cars, do they? As they are very big and heavy in these ground effect era Formula 1 cars. Maybe Nigel may like going back to a more lighter car in the 2026, then, of course, which we're going to next season, of course. The man from Dumont, that is Farfet. Well, Farfet at the moment is in 15th position there. So far, Farfet's in. But I must say then that I do think that that back end of Kiki is very much stepping up. Then Kiki looking very strong this event. Then he hasn't. I think that he hasn't scored or finished in the top 10 since Australia. There's now a crocodile starting to form behind Jinner then, and here comes KD. I think he needs to get past Pronto here. Contact between the two cars then, and look at the front then as well as Tory is fighting. It's all over the back of Potstuff's all over the back of Tory here, and I think that KD needs to get past Pronto here, because look at the top two. They are racing away. Well, we are racing, but they are racing away at the front. That Nosey has got past Kiki, as Kiki and one of the two Aston Martin drivers who, of course, was team orders in the opening race in Australia, which I must say was very controversial, wasn't it? I'm not sure if a lot of other drivers would have moved over for their teammates then, but of course, I think that Kiki and Knowlton are working very harmoniously so far in the Aston Martin, and the Mumford has been spun. As, goodness me, whether that was a desync or not, that looked very odd, as Mumford has now dropped down into 16th position there. He's been spun and has lost an abundant amount of time. And it's only a matter of time before Potstuff gets past the leading Alpine of Tori. And look in the background, Jitter all over the curb there, coming out of the Ravazza. And here is their lead changing it, and Potstep is through. Back here, Jitter is absolutely launched off of the Ravazzas, and I think that is very much using that urge to splendid effect then down into the Tamburello chicane. But Kiki gets there too late, does he? So he's unable to make a manoeuvre on the Haas driver. But the gap is stabilised at the front. The gap is still. What's happened? I'm looking at the wrong Haas there. I thought that was Potstep. But yes, Ginner then has just got this straight line speed. That is Vassier has got past on the exit, on the entry and exit out of Tosa, and Vassier's having to ape. Those hard tires are looking very well. Alex used his admin card on Kiki. Admin privileges, of course. Having said that, Kiki's an admin as well, isn't he? So, goodness me. Shocking stuff indeed then going on down the Aston Martin camp then. But then again, they are, of course, owned by Lawrence Stroll. So I don't know which one the Stroll is out of that car, whether Lance Stroll is Kiki or Knowlesy remains to be seen there. I'll keep you guys to judge that in the comment section. Maybe one's Drugovich. Actually, no, it's not Drugovich anymore. It's Jack Crawford is the reserve driver now in Aston Martin, isn't it? The young American driver from Formula 2. On board once again is Possum's got a 6/7 second gap. Key D is currently too far back. What's happened? And Slop is well off the circuit there. What on earth is going on there for Slop? Well, Slop is in the gravel trap where I used to cut the corner on the old F1 games when there used to be a final chicane there. But Slop all the way down in 19th position. Nigel right at the back of the field as well. It's been a tough start. And, of course, remember, safety car is probably one of the only ways you're going to get back into this race. So that is a horror show for Slop and Nigel then. Nigel's about 32 seconds back then. I think that Nigel's just crawling, isn't he? I think that Nigel's already ran out of belief in this one, sadly. Let's look at Ginner there. Of course, Ginner is on the harder tyres, but slipping and sliding there out of Acqua Minerale then as we come up into the Variante Alta. KD has got the first 3 second penalty of the event then, but he's all over the gearbox now of the Haas of Ginner then as we go down into the first of the 2 Ravazzas. But currently as it stands there, he's slipping and sliding again. Then is the thermal deck too much tonight then for Ginner? He's the only one struggling, and he's on the hard tires as well. KD is now gaining. Look at how much distance he's got to gain now. Ginner, though, once again, like tradition, he is so quick, isn't he? Ginner, I think, sets up his race car, well, his car for the races, doesn't he? Because he's so talented in qualifying that he can live with a skinny rear wing, and then in the races, it really comes home to roost. But whether that hurts his tires or not is another matter entirely. Slough out of the Grand Prix, and that's our first retirement of this Grand Prix. I wonder if Slough has got damage from the instant. We did not see it, but he was off the circuit there. Weird place to spin. That was an Ia's help then. Farp has got a 3 second penalty as well, and it was a weird place to spin, to be honest, wasn't it? It's camera racer off the circuit, and goodness gracious me, gentlemen, they're all bringing all grass, gravel and muck all over that part of the circuit going into Acqua Minerale. Gentlemen, I hope you got a brush to sweep that up at the end of this race. Shocking. Back at the front. Currently Tori, I wonder if Tori's quite happy just to sit back and just enjoy the view from behind Potstuff. Of course, Potstuff is punching a beautiful hole in the air, isn't he? Even though Tori does have DRS set, you still need a bit of overspeed, don't you, to overtake that. In terms of strategy, it was a one-stop strategy last night, and the alternative strategy just didn't work out for a few drivers, did it? I think for Mad Max, and here comes Camaro on the back of KD, but just too late. And now Vassier is making gains here. Vassier is very much on a rich run of form and potentially should have won the Chinese Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. He is now up into 6th position, is Vassier, and Vassier then is very much hounding Camaro, who went a bit deep out of the Villeneuve chicane. Nope, the Tamburello chicane there. Ginner's now a 2.5 seconds in front of KD. So unfortunately for KD, he couldn't get past the Haas car. So now he's going to, I'm wondering if KD is now thinking about when is he going to box then? When is he going to box? And of course, the undercut is quite powerful around here. But of course, you've got to get those tyres to the end of the race. And a two-stop, I think, is a no-go. Personally then, but I do love a multiple stop race, and whether that is going to be whether that's going to be possible or not remains to be seen. And I have me doubts, but then again, why do I have me doubts? I don't really know, to be honest. It didn't work very well for gold last night, but that could have been just the way that the gold race was shaping out then. So then, KD, I don't think it's going to be too concerned from Camarasa. I think Camarasa is going to be concerned about Vesser, because Vesser is coming like a freight train now. I think that this straight is not long enough, and he's going. No, he isn't there, as Camarasa breaks so late into the Tamburello, but unfortunately doesn't get such a good exit, and KD's off the circuit. He comes back on his camera, has to take evasive action there into the Villeneuve chicane, and that's a costly mistake from KD, and he's going to be kicking himself, I think, there, because that is 2 positions lost, and now they're 3 seconds away from Jin, who's now kind of in no man's land, and that is perfect for the hard tire shot of who am I talking about? I do not know. Smithy up into 10th position. That's perfect for Jenner, who's on the hard shod tires there. The real Fig, who I'm not sure if he's now behind Riley at the boat there, is the real Fig looking strong at the moment in this race, and of course was very unlucky, I think, in the Miami Grand Prix. He extended his stint then, but the alternative strategies didn't work out for the real Fig. Farfen using launch control once again to get his way up to 14th position. To be honest, if Farf did have launch control, then I gotta say he is a master hacker, isn't he? Then again, though, of course, launch control or option 13 was quite synonymous. Into the pits, and comes KD. And of course, so we're going to leave KD to it then. So he's the first driver to roll the... Oh, Riley's got a 10-second penalty. He's going to be disappointed with that. Is Vassier's up to 4th position now. So then Vasseur has now got track position, and I think he's quicker than Camera at this stage of the race. And I think Vasseur has done a good job on those tyres, hasn't he? He's looked after him splendidly, wow. And now Vasseur is now... Whoa! A lot of drifting out there, goodness gracious me. I've got that song from Tokyo Drift in my head now, but Camera Racer very much at the limits of that Williams there, and almost spinning the car. So Knowlesy is now in 6th. Kiki is 7th. Mumford's got a 3-second penalty. Styles in 8th. Smithy is in 9th position, and 10th position is the real thing. Reflections is in 11th position. Of course, Reflections, who has scored in every single race apart from the Chinese Grand Prix earlier on this season, down in 11th position on there, but there's a long way to go. So KD has come out in 16th position on the hard tyres. Farfar's got another penalty up there, unfortunately. But KD is now in a clear billet of track now, so he's now going to put the hammer down. The question I've got is where we can get those tyres to the end of the race then. And of course, the other question is whether his rivals can overtake KD as well. So back at the front, the top 3 have not pitted, and look at Jinner. He is now cutting into the advantage that Tori did have. Tori's dropped right off the back of Potstuff. This halves combination of Jinner and Potstuff, it's absolutely lighted up the track at the moment. Look at the correction that Jinner has to do, even on these hard tyres then. Vesser's on the hard tyres. Well, I apologise, I thought Vesser was on the medium tyres. So goodness gracious me, Sean. Now, focus, man, focus. Oh, Kiki! Oh, no! And Kiki has lost the car. And that's a VSC. It's not a full safety car. That is a shameful start. Wrong place, wrong time. I was just going to say whether or not Kiki had damage on the front end plate. Well, sadly for Stars, he does have damage now, and that is unfortunate. And it's Smithy just trying to slow the car down then, so he doesn't get a penalty. That is wrong place, wrong time there. Kiki lost the slide then. Of course, I think Sainz did that a couple of years ago, and didn't Perez do that in the 2023 race around here as well? Well, that's unfortunate for Kiki. Out of the Grand Prix, out of the race then. So what is this going to be then for these drivers then? A VSC then. Oops, says Serious Musher. No, KD's got a 2-stop now, says Serious Musher. Surely these drivers here have got to take it, haven't they? Got to take the gamble into the pits, Tori and Potster. Jenner's going to stay out there because Jenner, of course, has gone for the alternative strategy. I think they'll be gambling on the VSC because you'll probably lose. You probably gain 10 seconds, won't you, by pitting under the VSC there? I thought that would have been a full safety car for us because there's a car in the middle of the circuit. Stars has got a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane as well, but I think that is going to be the least of Stars' problems out there, because I think that Riley's got a drive-through penalty, so Riley's 10-second penalty, a drive-through penalty as well. It doesn't ring, but it pulls for Riley, who had a really good start to the season. Vesser's got a 3-second penalty as well. So Pot Stuff has come out in front of Mumford, and Tory is all over the gearbox of Mumford. Now we're back green here in Imola. Knowlesy's out in front of KD, or is he? No, because Knowlesy's lost out and KD is up into 10th position. Knowlesy is down into 11th. But of course, and up the inside into Tozer goes Tory. Mumford is trying to come back a little bit. He's on old medium tires, is Mumford, and he's having to yield there. Riley's getting a 3-second penalty as well. There's going to be a lot of frustration then. Kiki's confirmed a straw. Harsh. That's Kiki that said it, by the way, and I've quoted it as well. So Farf is now all over the gearbox of the Real Fig, who didn't come in the pits then. The Real Fig couldn't have come in the pits either, because his teammate Stars, who was only just out the road from him, had damage to his front nose cone. He would have had to come into the pits, change that wing, and plus, of course, the Real Fig would have had to queue up behind him as well. Smithy elected to stay out, but I think that Smithy elected to stay out because it was a similar point in the race then, as Torres got a 3-second penalty. Similar point in the race as Smithy and had to stay out as well. But let's see how this one transpires. So KD is now romping away then from Knowlesy, and up into 10th position there is KD, and has also got the fastest lap of this Grand Prix. The Real Fig then, as Riley has had enough, and drive-through penalty, 10-second penalty for Riley, and he's decided to call it dead, and penalties are racking up for Riley, and I do think that was a bit of frustration there from Riley from getting that first 10-second penalty, but unfortunately for Riley, out of the race. The Real Fig then, as Mumford is crawling, and Mumford is having a nightmare race as well. Of course, Mumford's had a difficult start to the season then. 2 pole positions in Australia and China, only 5 points to show for it, similar to how McLaren started last season. Well, McLaren started well last season, but then the middle part of the season, they kind of fell off, didn't they? Fell off a cliff, and the Real Fig has come out in front of his teammate Styles. So that's going to be interesting to see how that transpires between the two drivers then. Coming out of the Variante Alta now then, only 17 cars remain out of the 20 that started. Sloth out, Kiki up, then Haspin and Riley out of the race as well, unfortunately. Nigel is trying to recover, but he's a lap down now, is Nigel, so it's going to be very difficult to get yourself back into this one. Into the pits comes Camero, Smithy into the pits as well. They're losing a lot of time by not pitting under the VSC, but sadly, those two drivers, I think especially Smithy, he had no option, did he, with Tory so close in front of him. Tory was pitted and Smithy had to hang it out. Would you have lost more time by queuing up behind your rival? Potentially. But look at how much Tory has gained on Potster. And in front of us, we've got Farf in front of us. Vesser is about 14 seconds up the road. Dynamo Dan is at the fast of the race there. That could be crucial, as of course you get the bonus point for fast up as well, which is still a rule in ALR Grand Prix racing. Formula 1 took it away this season. Or last season then. I think mainly because of the Ricardo thing in Singapore, which I must admit I quite enjoyed the fast. I didn't like it at first, I gotta say, but having said that, the fast at that point did grow on me, and it's grown on me as well in this championship as well. It's good to stuff. It keeps drivers very much intrigued in races that could potentially have been going really against them then. On board with Farf then, so Farf is now into third position, and he is doing a good job here, I think, of holding up the drivers behind him, whilst Besser and Jinner are now extending their stints, and at the moment though, that they will be losing time now behind Farf, against Potstuff and Tory. Farf is on enough, he's in the pits, and look at that! Farf are holding up Potstuff, and now Tory is all over the gearbox of the Haas driver, but look at that, Haas is taken off it. That's a very slippery car. Tory all over the gearbox out of the second Ravazza, but he just couldn't get the job done there, and I'm surprised by that. Who's out in front of us? That's the Williams and Nigel, so unfortunately Nigel is a lap down. Camera then, where's Farfen? Farfen is now on medium tyres. I think the Farfen is going to have to Farf's going to have to pit again, surely, in this race. on board and Knowles in as he's matching KD, who's Serge Bush says he's also going to come to the pits as well. Had a 10-second penalty for speed in the pit lane, and the drive-through says Riley. Yeah, we've seen that, Riley. That was unfortunate. Of course, Riley came in the pits, 10-second penalty, and then that drive-through when the VSC ended there, Riley. Less there is going to be a safety car, which has been a bit, ominous. It's been missing this season, hasn't it? The safety car has. Smithy or Might all over the back of a Debo Croc here, then as they come over the brow of the hill. So it's very difficult to get back in the race if you had a harsh over opening lap there. And unfortunately, Nigel is facing that right now. We've seen an absolute BS of a game, says Serious Mushroom. How dare you question the game, Mushroom? Excuse me? Someone's got a big exhaust outside. Can't be me. I don't compensate for something. After the Variante Alta, down into the two Rabatzas now. And Smith, we don't see much overtaken. Now, I gotta go! Because look at this! And it's Pot Stuff and Tori are fighting out the Tamburello chicane. And goodness gracious me, that was closer than last lap then. Let's go back to this battle here. Smithy that is gaining on Debo Croc. Then Debo Croc is now harvested. Smithy all over the gearbox of the Mercedes driver on the outside. Is he? No! The Mercedes locks up then. Smithy on the curb then. He forces his way through. And the real thing is also on the scene as well. And the two kick salvers are now locking horns then. Smithy is through. And the Debo Croc survives. Just about survives in the top 10. And now the two kick salvers are fighting for position as well. Oh my goodness gracious me. No, there's no team orders in the Kick Sauber garage, but which could help or hinder them. Both are on a similar strategy, albeit Stars does have a penalty, doesn't it? So I think the real thing is more likely to get points at this stage of the race. But of course, we still got we're still just over half distance in this race. So anything can happen in Grand Prix racing, and it usually does that. As Vessier has taken the lead. What's happened to Jinner? I thought the gap was bigger than that, but Vessier's caught up and passed Jinner going into the Villeneuve chicane. Out of the Villeneuve chicane, and Potstuff still is in front of Tori. So has Jinner made a mistake, or has Vessier just been absolutely been standing up in the seat of that racing ball? Well, either way, that was incredible stuff indeed. Then back at this gaggle of cars here. And now look, there's Farf on the medium tires, but I'll be surprised if Farf can get to the end there. Even if Farf is very soft on those tires. Debo Croc then just about keep it in front of the real thing. Smithy, can he get out of DRS range? Well, we'll find out back here then. So Vester leads the race, and I'm not sure if they've lost a lot of time then, because the gap is now down to 8 seconds there. These two drivers are very much eating into that gap then between Jinner and Potstuff. Goodness gracious me. So then the alternative strategies are going to come into play now. Well, not now, but maybe in the next couple of laps or two. Jinner's in the pits now. So Jinner is in the pits, and it's a long pit lane. This is why one stop is the only way to go around here. The amount of time you lose in the pit lane is ginormous. And I think that potentially Vesser could go hang for a VSC. Potentially that might be an opportunity. Jinner is now out of the pits now. KD's through. Knowles is through. Where's Camaro? Camaro is coming up now then. So where is Jinner then? I think he should be out in front of Reflections, who's gone into the radar. You'll see the Ferrari. There he is. So Reflections there is now flying down the start-finish straight. Is he going to get past? No, Jinner is just in front then. My goodness me, and Reflections there from out of nowhere is up to 8th position. That's great stuff from Reflections. He's got a couple of laps more laps on these hard tires. But Reflections there, I think he's come out of nowhere personally, and he's really caught me by surprise. And is now in 8th position, as the battle at the front end still rages on. So I think the veteran now knows approximately where he's going to come. Oh, that doesn't look nice at all out of the Variante Alta for Tori. That didn't look nice at all. He's out of DRS range because the car just wanted to over-rotate. Vesser is staying out then, so Vesser knows he's going to be out. In between Jinner and Reflex, he's going to be behind Reflex now. He should get out in front of Smithy if he pits on this lap then, but the more extensive stint then, the more time he's going to lose, because all the drivers behind him, and now he's going to be starting to eat into that advantage. as Reflection there is going to hope to keep in DRS range of Jinner, so we'll keep it on that. But this battle here between the Real Fig Stars and Firepower is a very intriguing indeed then, as we've still got 3 retirements in this race, and they 17 remain out of the 20 that start in this one. Out of the second Ravazza said Firepower is kind of stuck at the moment, similar to Mad Max last night there. The medium tyres there are not going to work unless you're in free air then, so I'm wondering if the bronze driver is going to be looking at this and thinking it's just probably best to start on the medium tyre tomorrow, which is not going to make for an interesting race, is it? And once again though, Styles all over the back of the Real Fig. If we're all on the same strategy, it ain't going to be an interesting race, is it? But having said that, of course, it is going to be very much, it's going to be a pressure cooker indeed there. So it's not going to be about strategy if everyone's on the same tyre, but it's going to be about whether you hold your nerve or not, then, isn't it? And this is certainly going to be, as Tories breeze up to the back of Potsdam. Impressive stuff indeed then. Well, I've gone from being cold to really hot then. That's good, isn't it? Hungry Styles all over the gearbox of his teammate, the Real Fig. Vessier is into the pits now. So Vessier has not stopped at his mark yet and about to change his tyres. So Vessier's going to lose out then to KD, to Nolsey, to Camaracer, to Jitter, to Reflections, maybe to Smithy or Mighty as well. We'll keep an eye on that as we're keeping an eye on what the 2-kick Saubers are doing here. Is they're very much fighting tooth and nail, but both kick Saubers are looking a stretch then if they come out in at front, if they come in the points then. And there is Smithy going through. Those extra couple of laps of Vessier has cost him the position of Smithy. But on these new medium tyres, he might be able to get past Smithy in the lap or two then. But he needs to make hay whilst the sun is shining, and the sun is shining beautifully well around this circuit. Back here then, and once again then, this battle just shows how difficult it is to overtake around this circuit. This circuit is very good for qualifying and a very good track to race on, isn't it? Or to drive on. I'm not sure if it's a very good race circuit as well, but you've got to make the most of the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix, because it could be off the calendar. This could be the last time we race around here, of course, as it may not be on the calendar going forward. It's certainly not on the official F1 calendar for F1 2026, sadly. Locking up there from the Real Fig, then the unloaded inside tyre, then goodness gracious me. Of course, if you take too much momentum into that chicane there, you're going to be very much in the seat of the accident. I think Norris went off there when it was a wettish circuit around here a few years ago. Can't remember when, I just know it was a few years ago. Let's go back to the front then, and it is still about 5/10 of a second on Potstuff. I'm thinking the Potstuff is very happy where he is at the moment, isn't he? Of course, Potstuff aiming for his second win of the season. Smithfield Mighty is not really fighting this one too hard. Where are we? There we are. I was like, where's the Mr. Director gone? Well, he's passed Smithfield Mighty up into 8 minutes there. Smithfield Mighty doing a good job there to get into the points, and Reflections is currently my driver of the day so far, but we've still got 11 laps to go in this one, and this is very much could be last lap shenanigans that could really help or hinder your performance tonight, of course. Far, even with the younger medium tyres, just cannot get past, can he? And a lot of frustration. Real Ashton into the pits. Real Ashton for the Ferrari then was coming in the pits and probably doing a bit of trial and error out there as well, ready for tomorrow's race in Bronson with Real Ashton there, where Real Ashton takes the track in his Williams, I think it is, isn't it? Goodness gracious me. Look at the 2-kick Saubers though. Of course, they are dropping back. The gap is a second and a bit now to Debo Croc, making his first full-time appearance in the Mercedes, and the Mercedes are going to be very happy with this because they haven't scored. They've only had one driver score so far this season then, but sadly it looks like it's going to be either one or the other driver scoring. It's whilst Riley has had a pretty difficult race tonight, then Debo Croc has recovered to his very nice 10th position. Yellow flag. What's happened? There's a Ferrari. Oh, it's a Real Ashton there just going get on the way. Very good stuff indeed, Real Ashton. Great stuff indeed. I know that I wouldn't have done the same, but that's because I'm not a nice person. And once again, Styles then is just not able to get past his teammate, is he? And that's so frustrating, this one is, isn't it? He is so much quicker through the Villeneuve chicane then. But the real thing then, of course, he doesn't have to let his teammate through then. Whether or not Jonathan Wheatley might be screaming down the radio to the real thing to let Styles through or not, I do not know. But even so, the Styles does have penalties and of course which could help, which will probably hinder Styles' chance of getting points here tonight then. But anything can happen in this race, and it usually does. Albeit we're kind of in a bit of a well, we were in a bit of a damn squid part of the race, and here comes Tori on the outside then, and Cameron's got a 3-second penalty. Tori has slowed the car down, takes the lead in the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix with 10 laps to go. Great manoeuvre indeed. I thought he was going to overshoot, to be honest. Great stuff indeed. Here comes Jinner, who's using those medium tyres to great effect now, and is caught to the back of Camera Racer, and Jinner's got no penalties either, so he could elevate himself up the few positions there, because all cars in front of him up to the podium spot does have penalties, of course, there. And look at this, and his Farfus now on the gearbox of Hungry Styles then, but still too far back into the Tamburello chicane, unfortunately. Of course, before the track modifications in '94, this was a very long drag down into the down into Tosa. Of course, the track modifications was made for safety after the horrific events of 1994. But one thing that would be quite cool is if you can have old versions of a track then, because I reckon the old Imola circuit there would be very good for modern F1 potentially. There was certainly the drag from the start finish straight all the way down to Tosa there without those chicanes. That would be much easier for overtaking then, but of course these cars are quite wide anyway, so it'd be still quite difficult to achieve. But it'd be interesting to see, wouldn't it? Maybe that'd be an idea for a future F1 game. But sadly, additional tracks on an F1 game is very rare indeed, isn't it? Albeit we did have what's happened as we got Farfus fighting now with Debo Croc. We got all kinds of shenanigans now. We got some swaps going on here, there, and everywhere. It's like when you wait for a bus, two comes along at once. Jinner's past Camaro, Vessier's past Reflections, and then Farfus defending from Dynamo Danny as well. Goodness gracious me. We've had lap after lap of not much action going on. Then all of a sudden, we had 3 or 4 overtakes on one lap. Good gracious me. Next target for Jinner is Knowlesy then. There is Knowlesy. I'm going to keep it on the front two, because the front two, the gap is about 0.5 of a second at the moment as we're approaching the final stage of this Grand Prix. Pot Stuff leads then, but Tori has a 3-second penalty. I forgot about that. Goodness gracious me, that could be the outcome of the Grand Prix, of course. So Jinner is now is in the facility of Knowlesy here. A 3-second penalty on footage for Mumford. We'll check in with the penalties in just a jiffy. KD is doing a great job on those 14-lap old hard tyres there. Absolutely superb. He is pulling away from Debo Croc has got a penalty. That could cost him, I think, that top 10 finish for Debo Croc and Mercedes. Knowlesy is not keeping up with KD, so those 2-lap extra on those tyres there is not actually helping Knowlesy. Here comes Jinner. Knowlesy, is he missing a bit of electrical deployment there from that Mercedes in the back of the Aston Martin? Because Jinner just breezed by. He was quite a long way back there. So I think that Knowlesy is going to be having an urgent meeting with Adrian Newey about that, because that was pretty bad. Maybe Andy Cow as well, because that is not very good, was it? Luckily, Aston Martin are going to Honda next season. So if Knowlesy does stay in the Aston Martin for next season, then at least he might have a better donkey behind him potentially. But at the moment, even though I'd say that the Mercedes is probably the best, engine out there, but that didn't seem to be the case then from Knowlesy on that part of the race then. So what can Jinner do? The gap is 3.5 seconds to himself and KD. However, KD does have penalties. We come over very overcast around here, haven't we? I did say we were expecting a spot of rain or two. I expect a rain or two in the not too distant future, but I don't think anyone's forecast there. Dynamo Dan then coming out of Acqua Minerale up into the Variante Alta. The two kick towers are just in front of us at the moment. But Favre's tyres are starting to scream. I think he's done 10 laps on those medium tyres. They are probably not feeling it probably not feeling like their best at the moment. Knowles are using the DRS there from the back of Gina to keep himself in front of Camaro. Camaro's got younger tyres by 2 laps. And look at how deep they go in there. And I think that's a result of the dirty air. Reflections is keeping up with Vessia there. So maybe Vessia might lose these positions, especially if he has penalties as well for Vessia. But once again, he's in the heart of the top 10 here. 6 laps to go in this race as the battle at the front is really starting to hot up in this one. Currently, as it stands, Pottsef can just stay behind Tori and win the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Of course, and that would be 5 out of 5 races where the pole sitter has not gone on to win the Grand Prix. Then the pole position has been a poison chalice, hasn't it? Well, I would say that Ginner's tyres, I think, are starting to fall off there because look at because actually Katie is starting to pull away. Then Katie's on course to get his 3rd podium of the season, which is a very impressive indeed. Katie is currently in the championship. Whether he will be after the end of this race, then remains to be seen. Mainly because I haven't got me big old calculator up. Here comes Potstuff, and he takes the lead. And through he goes, passes Tori, and it's going to be a yo-yo effect between these two drivers that come to the end of this race set. Having said that, of course, I think that KD is going to have to speed up a bit because he's got a 6-second penalty. If Ginner can keep those tyres on the operating window, KD will not be on the podium. He'll be behind Ginner. The driver's behind Ginner, but he'll be in 4th position rather than 3rd then. So Ginner might be happy with that. But look how overcast it's become. There's a big there's a big black cloud. There it is over the yonder at Tosa here. And we could see a sprinkling of rain then in the dying emblems of this Grand Prix. Wow. Even though you can't overtake around here, we've had a lot of action tonight, haven't we? Goodness gracious me. I was hoping for a casual Tuesday, but it really hasn't been it's been anything but casual, hasn't it? So we keep an eye on this one. We're going to keep an eye on the penalty situation out there as well. Sadly, Thor's getting a 10-second penalty, I think, for speeding in the pit lane, which has really cost him, hasn't it? The 3-second penalty for Debo Croc is currently costing him points on his debut for Mercedes. Debo Croc did finish a superb 4th position in the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix a few weeks ago when he was super subbing in for the McLaren team. But he would like to get points on the board for the Mercedes team. But as it stands, he needs to find another half a second then to get in front of the Real Fig, who's got no penalties out there, which is good stuff indeed there for the Kick Sauber team and for Real Fig as well. Be adding to his points tally. Knowles has got no deployment either. I think there's issues there with that electrical deployment in that Aston Martin because Knowles is really struggling to harvest by the looks of things. Camaro is through and now up into 5th position there, and he's a second away from Ginner. Then Ginner is going to be trying to keep within that 6-second window with 4 laps to go, and I think it's going to be very much edge of your seat stuff then for Ginner then, whether he can keep those tyres in the operating window. Dynamo Dan has been released after Favre came into the pits a few laps ago, so now Dynamo Dan is now pressuring Stiles, and who's still pressuring his teammate, the Real Fig. Then this has been a great battle between the two Kick Saubers. Then they cannot fight too much. It's goodness me, almost collected each other in the Villeneuve chicane. They cannot fight too much because there's points on the board now for the Real Fig. So I'm wondering if Jonathan Wheatley now needs to get on the blower and needs to tell the Hungry Stars to probably drop back ever so slightly and be the rear gunner. Ginner's got a penalty that could be costly for his chance at the podiums tonight there. So that is a shame there for Ginner. And I'm wondering then if Kick Sauber should. I know we love racing, of course, but we love racing. We don't really like team orders and such. But I'm wondering if Kick Sauber should say to Stars and drop back, because the Real Fig could get some points here. But the more that the Real Fig starts to drive with his wing mirrors, the less likely he's going to be keeping us inside that 3-second window then. So of course we'll keep an eye on how that one transpires. KD is currently in position then for that final podium, which will be his third of the season, which has been a great start indeed from KD just watching Styles then as he is still a bit behind the 8 ball at the moment. Dynamo Dan's got an outside chance of getting some more points on the board in that Red Bull car. Of course, Dynamo Dan has had a very good, strong couple of races, hasn't he, Dynamo Dan has? He's actually scored in every single race so far this season, up until tonight with a superb 5th position in the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix 2 weeks ago, though. But at the moment, he may need something to go awry up at the front then, because at the moment he will not be scoring points then. Pot Stuff looking at his right-hand side wing mirror there, and I wonder if he's expecting Tori to go on the outside on lap 30 out of 33 in this one. This has gone very overcast, and I'm wondering if that might have helped or hindered the tyres for Jenner's point of view. While Jenner is now, Jenner's got a 3-second penalty, but even so, I'm wondering that 3-second penalty has really made him tighten up in the car now, because he has lost another half a second as Jenner was feigning coming into the pit lane now. Camera Racer is having none of it, and now then as Jenner's going to have to get the fence. Remember though, Jenner's got such a top end speed in that Haas car. Camera Racer's going to have none of it on the outside, and they're going side by side contact then. Camera Racer's off the circuit then. Where are they? As Jenner spun the car, and I think that was that might have been because of the contact earlier on then, or whoever that was, the tires going on, but Jenner sadly spin the car after contact between himself and Camera Racer. He recovers down into 9th position now. Once that move on, they were side by side. Geez, Jenner has 3 laps to go, says Serious Mushroom. But unfortunately, that has come right. Knowlesy has made his way back into the 4th position there. Knowlesy has there. But was that move on for Camera Racer then? Was it a bit of day late and a dollar short then? Oh, he must admit, he certainly was in the picture, wasn't he? It'd be interesting to know what the stewards make of that. I would say that racing isn't half of one, half a dozen of one, a dozen of the other, or whatnot. I do not know. But either way, so basically, I do not know. There we go. Oh, we got some lapped cars there. I think that's Nigel getting lapped, unfortunately, again, as Tori is under the cosh there. Back here, then Camera Racer's quite a way back from Knowlesy. Knowlesy is not going to be able. I think Knowlesy should be safe on lap 31 out of 32. It might be the next lap where it becomes crucial, but Vester is very much on a tear, so to speak, isn't he? On board now once again then with Vessier then, so he has Vessier then coming into the Villeneuve chicane then, as and really looking at that, this Knowlesy is once again, I think the Knowlesy's doing a lot of harvesting now, isn't he? Of course, so I think. Oh, Jenner's in the wall, and Jenner, oh, that is such a shame. Jenner is, that is such a shame for Jenner. And I think that is out be curtains over for Jenner potentially getting points on the board. As Farfus got a 3-second penalty. So Jenner then, I wonder if he's going to be a bit aggrieved. No space left, so that's all I'm saying, says a Serious Mushroom. So Dynamo Dan has the chance of getting points here. Of course, they are just about outside of the pit, the penalty window at the moment. Oh, look at did you hear the tires screeching? That goodness gracious me! Coming over the, we do have rain then, and I thought they got a bit cloudy. Goodness me, I thought it as Vester on the outside, and he is through and up into 6th position. Cameron's off the circuit. Vester's now in the 5th position. I thought I'd close the stream down. Vester is now up into 5th position. Oh my goodness gracious me. Good stuff indeed there from Vester. Reflection said, oh, that is a lot of rain, actually. These drivers are going to be tippy-toed around the real thing. Is he going to skate off the circuit? Jenner's out of the Grand Prix. That's a lot of rain. And goodness gracious me, Knowlesy's lost out because Vester's up in 4th position. Good heavens above. And some Styles has got back past Dynamo Dan on this very last lap. Look at them all. They're skating on the circuit. My goodness gracious me. The track is almost very much saturated here. Goodness gracious me. Absolutely incredible stuff. And Potstuff almost loses this. He comes out of the second of the Ravazza set and up to the line now. Look how damn the track is. And Potstuff wins the Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. Wow, fantastic. fantastic stuff indeed. Tori finishes second as once again, then the driver on pole position does not win the race. Look at how gingerly Katie is taken. And who's that? Camera racers off the circuit here. Good gracious me. He comes back up. That's a 3-second penalty. Not sure about that. But it comes out of follow corner. Look at how wet it is out there. That was an incredible end then. I did say we was going to expect rain. Goodness gracious me. Can Reflections get himself up into 6th position here? Reflections, he does. I'm wondering if that penalty for Cameron could be rescinded there, because that was harsh. Smithy up into 7th. Very incredible stuff indeed then. Styles is now into the top 10, but so is Dynamo Dan here. Dynamo Dan is going to keep up his 100% point scoring streak here. Wow, absolutely fine stuff indeed. Oof, goodness gracious. Absolutely superb from all the drivers out there. Magic stuff indeed. Oh my goodness gracious me. Who else should I give a driver of the day to? I've got 3 options. I think we might just leave it at 3, I reckon. How do I get rid of that third one? Goodness gracious me. It's a driver of the day coming up. Right, where was I? Yes, get your driver of the day votes in, ladies and gents. But that late rain shower really caused absolute anarchy there. Right, absolutely incredible stuff indeed then. Whew. I'm all over the show now. Rain, good race that. Tori can't catch a break then, as unfortunately then, sadly the curse for pole position rages on. Do not know. Potstuff wins the Grand Prix here in Emilia, Romagna then. Second position, Tori from pole position to third in the end. KD on the podium for the 3rd time in 5 races. Good stuff. Versa gets fast up and a great job to 4th position there. Knowlesy finishes 5th there with 6th position Reflections from 15th to 6th there. Great job. 7th position is Smithy with Camero in 8th. Devo Croc in 9th there. And 10th is Dynamo Dan to keep up his 100% scoring rate. Both kicked Salbert then. I wonder if they tripped over each other there in 11th and 12th position. No points there. 13th is Mumford, far from 14th. Real Ashton in 15th. Retirements was Jinner. Nigel, I think, completed the race there. Riley, Kiki, and Sloth all retired then from this Emilia Romagna Grand Prix. And what was a very action-packed end there. Goodness me, the rain there just came out of nowhere, didn't it? And it certainly did really throw a curveball in the works there. I must say, I wish the rain came a lap or two earlier, because that would have been very interesting to see who came in the pits towards the very end. Then that would have been quite a show indeed then. Wow, incredible stuff. But right then, we got KD in the comms box for the 3rd time in 5 races. Superb stuff indeed there for yourself, KD. You came in the pits very early on, and I must say, I was a bit skeptical where you was going to get those hard tires in the race. But once again, you proved me wrong with your tire management. But how difficult was it towards the end?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't really just the end. I think it was the race overall was difficult. I was stuck behind Jinner for like the majority of my first stints because I couldn't overtake him even with DRS. He had lower wings compared to. 1 second. Just there you go. I'm staying next to the TV because I don't want to get you copyright. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, I was stuck behind Jinner for a while the race, or the first half of the race, because he had lower wings than I did, and I couldn't overtake him even with DRS, so that made it really difficult to do that, and then I just kept making way too many mistakes. I went off of the track at one point at the exit of Tamburello. I lost like 2 positions, and then I said, screw it, I'm not doing this anymore, I'm going to go for an undercut. And then the VSC came out, and then, yeah, that kind of hampered my race a little bit as far as trying to get to Potstuff and Tori. I think I had the pace there, but I just made too many mistakes at the end, or at the race overall. So I can just only put this all on me. But GG though to Tori and Potstuff, and especially to Potstuff on another win.
That's interesting. Do you feel if you didn't make those mistakes, then would you have been challenging for the race today? And potentially, could you have won it without those mistakes?
Difficult to say, really. I definitely had the pace to be with Tori and Potstuff. Win? I mean, that honestly would be a never. You will never know question. question answer. Anyway, it's a never know answer. But yeah, that's all I can say. I'll never know. But I definitely had some sort of pace if I didn't make any of those mistakes. That's so. Like I said, I put this all on me for that.
And what about the rain at the end then? Of course, that was a bit of a curveball. That rain absolutely came down,
Hmm.
raining cats and dogs then. Goodness me. It caught a lot of drivers out then. How difficult is it to stay on the island?
Very difficult. I mean, it felt like an ice skating rink as soon as the rain came down on the final lap, especially on the worn hard tires. I felt my steering wheel being loose, obviously, which indicates obviously you have no grip. And yeah, like I said, it was like an ice skating rink. So I was just like, okay, just focus on getting the car home. That's all you got to do. Don't push. Just get the car home. You have the gap. That's all you have to do. Just get the podium, and that's it.
You have lost a few points to Potstuff in a potentially your
Mm.
championship rival this season. But would you say that this is points gained or points lost? I potentially think it's points gained after recovering back to a podium state. But what are your thoughts on that?
Maybe a bit of both, I guess. But no, I think it was just at least kept it minimal. I didn't, like I said, coming into the race, I had no idea what I was going to be doing as far as how I could manage the race, let alone see what I could do. But at least the podium is the best thing I could have done. That I can be satisfied with. But yeah, it sucks to lose some points to your rival, but at least not a total loss, if that makes any sense.
And of course, next week then we have another mystery round then between Monaco, Spain, and Canada, I believe. Then, are you lean towards a particular circuit? Would you like to go to Canada, which is near your home, or do you prefer do you prefer to tackle Monaco?
Hmm. Well, even though this is another audience vote again, I probably would say what we're going to be looking at. Like, if it was the driver's perspective, I would say the majority of the grid would want either like something other than Monaco. I know there's a few that do want Monaco. I wouldn't mind Monaco to be honest, but I feel like if it was a driver's perspective, it would be like Spain or Canada because obviously it's just normal circuits. Or if it was the audience, I know they definitely want chaos, so Monaco probably would be something that we might be looking at. But that's just me being theoretical. I wouldn't mind Spain because that's been a track I've been really good at in past games, but I wouldn't mind either way.
I want chaos. Thank you very much today, KD. Brilliant job indeed. Your third podium of the season. Magnificent stuff indeed then. That's going to be it for silver this week then. Of course, tomorrow night we got some bronze action as well then. And of course, in bronze then, it's just as tight as what it is in silver. R2 beat started off the season so strongly, but of course, he's kind of fallen down the hill as of late then. Jay Hinks is now only 1 point away. Marsky is 12 points back with Rosa Sky. Tom Huffy, who had a dominant performance last week then. I think that's the biggest winning margin in the last 3 seasons. Impressive stuff indeed there. Kaidal and of course we've got Sirius Mushroom and Mr. Elite all within a win of each other. Then that's the top 8. Goodness gracious me. Racing Bull, no, not Racing Bull. Red Bull leads the Constructors Championship by 37 points. Then I cannot wait as we go